What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode number 5 of Pack to Glory. Thanks for joining us here today. We want to improve this club, and one of the ways that I can do that is through marquee matchups each week. Usually there's some good deals to be had, and I've found a nice little spot here for us with the Romania versus Sweden SBC, where we could use a few of our bronze players and a few of our really weak players from La Liga, whose icon swap we've already done, and a few little players from the A-League that we can get in here and get ourselves a nice pack to kick things off in today's episode and start to strengthen up our relatively weak squad. So we do get a rare gold pack from this one, which should usually pay out pretty well with the 12 rares all being gold. So fingers crossed, toes crossed, that we can actually pull someone good, because our pack luck so far has been quite average. And it looks like, to kick things off today, we are actually going to pick up boards here in the form of Spanish CDM Manchester City, the man, the myth, the legend, Rodri. So we do get our first boards of the series, and to add to that, a Champions League. Oh, look at the drive. Here we go. Come on, swing, follow through. Nice. So we've got our first UCL rare card in the form of a Premier League player, and it's none other than 85 rated Rodri. And he's got some pretty balanced looking stats there. We also pick up Balotelli, so we might be able to get another 2 rare gold pack and a draft token. Oh, that is nice. 3 squad fitnesses and a draft token. Now, for me, a draft token is worth a minimum of 15 grand, because it's 15,000 to enter the draft, and even if you go out in the first round, you're going to get back at least 3 5k packs or another draft token. So Rodri, he's sitting at about 12,000 on the market. Some really well-balanced stats here. Good stamina, strength, and aggression. Defensive awareness, standing tackle, really good. His composure is great. His passing stats are great. And he's got those high defensive work rates. So he's going to be perfect fit for us in the centre of the park. And a really welcome addition to our Premier League side, or even for our main side, for rivals. Because we definitely need to strengthen up that main side for our rivals. We get a duplicate there in that Premier League keeper from Villa, so we'll just chuck him up on the market. I think he goes to pretty much bin price. Yeah, he's available for 700 coins, so we'll sell him. We would have got the 600 coins just for trading him in. However, if we sell him, we'll lose 5%, and we'll get just that tiny little bit of extra coins. It's nothing much, but it all counts in the grand scheme of things. So now that we have that draft token, we should probably go and get into our first ever draft. So you can see we've never played the draft before. There's a chance to win big, definitely, and start to get some really big packs for our club. So I hope that we can pick something up here. So starting off with, we need to pick a formation, and I'm not a big fan of 5 at the back. Maybe the 4-3-3 defend, but that does have the 2 defensive midfielders that don't really help bomb on and join the attack. And I don't like to play with the wingers out wide. I like to have a nice central hub to bounce passes and 1-2s off of my strikers. So I think our best chance here is going to be the 3-5-2, so that we can really have that triangle up front, and we just got to pick the right work rates. We've seen a lot of Zlatan already in this series, so we're not going to go with Zlatan. Hadji's looks pretty good in the icon there, some well-rounded stats. His defensive's quite low. His shooting, 78, is very low. Stamina's also pretty low. I have used Hazard before, and he's pretty handy. Highest rated there, so I think Hazard would be a good start for us. Now that we have Hazard, I guess we might want to move into the direction of La Liga. He'll get plenty of La Liga links. Then we do have Rodri, but that Son pops there, and that is a tasty looking card. Always been very handy with his 5-star weak foot, so I think he can't turn past Son there. And also the same goes for Bobby Firmino. Now he does have high work rate, so I don't know if I'll play him at striker. He has that centre forward, so we could drop him back into cam if we need to. But for now, we'll keep him up top. We've got some pretty dead picks here. It doesn't really matter who. We might take just the Brazilian, because he gets a nice link into Bobby there, but I don't think he'll start for us. Now Militao, a really meta centre back that's been in a lot of people's sides this year, and he was a pretty easy pick to take, so we'll take him. And then we can take Lamela for his perfect link to Son. We can flick those 2 around, and that'll get Son on perfect chemistry there, and give Lamela at least 7 as well to start with. And we can now jig things around once we get the rest of the picks and bring Militao over to link into Hazard. So, I guess we should take another Brazilian here. We can go between either Felipe or Luiz. Akanji does look nice. He's got really fast pace, but David Luiz would be a good link between the Premier League side, the Premier League element of our side, and La Liga. So I think he'll be a really good fit. Plus, he's an Arsenal player, big Arsenal fan. And I haven't used him yet, and he's always been really good in FIFA, so I'd love to try him out. And and see how he's like this year. We get 88 rated Hummels, but he's a slug. Hernandez would be nice, but we don't have any Bundesliga. We'll have to go Sanchez here because, again, he can get those perfect links into the Tottenham players. He also links to David Luiz, and we've already got quite a good bit of base chemistry going here. Finish off with the keeper. Brazilian keeper would be nice, and there you go. We have Alisson, and Alisson's really, really good this year. He's probably one of the best keepers that I've come up against. He doesn't have that saves with feet trait, but he just seems to have these like super wrists where he just gets a hand to the ball and it always diverts around the post. So if you haven't tried Alisson yet, he's only like 25k or 20 if you can get him on Snipe, and I'd recommend picking him up for your side because he's really, really good. Idrissa Gueye is a solid play. He's not going to get any chemistry. He's probably not going to start for us, but we'll grab him. There's Rodri that we saw earlier. I'm sure you'll see plenty more of him coming up in the future. But Fabinho will be a really good fit for our side. I was tempted here to take Carvalho, but I think Fabinho will be the best pick for us in this scenario. So we'll get him in. He'll give us a little bit of chemistry there for our Premier League players. I'm sure we can jig that around in future. The keeper pick here is pretty dead. I don't think it really matters who we take. None of them are going to start for us. They're probably going to end up in the reserves as well. So moving forward, what do we have next? Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba would be really nice here. I'm a big fan of his pace, and he'll get some awesome links to La Liga players. Next up, we see our first icon of today's episode in Zanetti, and he'll fit in really nicely to the team. So we'll pop him on the bench for now, and we'll see if we can find a spot for him in our starting 11 a little later on once our picks unfold. A few dead picks here from this one. Anderson would be alright, but we already have Neymar on the wing. Rodri we don't really need in the centre of the park, and Lamar again we also don't need on the wing. So we'll just take Parejo for rating here. I don't see him getting a run at all today. I don't actually rate his card, but we'll just take him for rating. And again, silver picks, dead picks here. We'll take that Spanish League 2 player and just take him for rating. And again, he'll end up in the squad. He's not going to start for us at all today. A few really nice options here in wingers, plenty of pace, but we do have Hazard on left wing, so we don't particularly need a left winger. And nonetheless, Neymar will get Brazilian links. He does have that 5-star weak foot, and he's a top tier player. So we'll pop Neymar in the squad, and we'll see if we can work a way around to get him in here today. And we see our second icon of the episode. 89 finishing, 84 stamina, awesome aggression, attacking positioning, and Luis Figo, he's a top quality player, and he'll definitely be starting for us. He'll take the place of Lamela out on that right wing, and then we get another Brazilian here, Rafinha. He can go in here at cam for us. He'll link in perfectly or we'll get a soft link into Firmino, and also into Fabinho, and also into any other La Liga players that we can work into our starting 11. There's another La Liga player in Rakitic. However, I think Aguero would be a good take for us, because then we could potentially drop Bobby back into cam. I do like Aguero. We've seen him already in the series, and he's a good finisher. So we'll get him in there for Bobby. He'll get us up to 95 chemistry altogether. Just check here to see if that's better for Cam. It's still 95 because he'll get 6 out there. So no, we'll switch them back. And who else can we bring in? We could potentially bring in Neymar in for Hazard. They'll both get 6 chem. Yep, so that's the same. It doesn't really change the chemistry. Alternatively, could we work in Rafinha? That gets us to 100 chemistry. So we've already got 100 chemistry now. And then if we try and bring Neymar in, it'll drop us down. That will also drop us down 1 chem point. However, it doesn't really bother me because we'll get that back with the manager. So that's alright. Next up in our picks we have Robertson or Varane. Varane will get perfect links to Militao. He'll also get perfect link to Hazard. So we'll pick him up. And we'll try and rejig our backline here to work him in to get the chemistry needed. So if we bring Luiz across, yep, so that's 99, so still 99 chemistry, and we're getting even more of a solid side. We can get one less Tottenham player out of our side, which is always puts a smile on my face as an Arsenal fan. Another French La Liga centre-back who'll get a perfect link into Varane. He'll get a soft link into Militao. So we'll take Umtiti from Barcelona, and we'll see if we can get him in here. That will get rid of all Alisson's chemistry links though, so that will affect Alisson big time. We don't have a backup keeper here, so it might be worthwhile getting David Luiz back into the side just so we can. Oh, he does have that soft link from Militao, but I'd rather have his chemistry boosted. And I wouldn't mind seeing what David Luiz can do. We could look at bringing in Zanetti, particularly in that CDM role, even as a centre back. Probably better just to bring him off the bench, however. And I reckon it's probably best to. We'll bring in David Luiz before we apply our manager. And our final pick, they'd have that nice scream-looking Roman Gouli card there. However, Kroos will get a perfect link to Militao, a perfect link to Hazard, perfect link to Varane, soft links to any other La Liga players. It's hard to turn down that card there because those are for some phenomenal stats. But Kroos does make sense, and if we want to, we can take him out and bring in a pacier player in his place. So that's 96 chem, 86 rated at the moment. However, if we just bring that David Luiz back in, we'll go straight to 100 chemistry, even without the manager. We can reshuffle our bench and see if we can get that rating above 87. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I think we'll end up on 87 here altogether. Can we change anyone else? We could take out Lamela. And that's, still 87. So that's our final team. Maybe lacking a little bit of pace in at CDM. High work rates for our Cam probably isn't the best either. I like more of an attacking-minded Cam. That's kind of my philosophy in real life as well when it comes to football. Players like Mesut Ozil I think are really underrated on the pitch. They open up the game, and it seems to be that everyone needs to do their defensive role in today's game, and we can't have those creative players. So we're going to get into our first game of the day here. I'm actually having a little bit of trouble with my recording software, and I missed the start of this game. I went down early, which seems to be a theme in all of my games, probably because I'm too busy checking to see if we actually are recording all the rest. And we level things up there to start things off at 1-1. So we are back into the game, and I was really rushing. I think I was overly confident because it was the first round of the draft, so I was super eager to win the ball back and dictate the game, and wasn't willing to do the defensive work, as I was just saying about Mesut Ozil. I got caught out for that, rushing, neglecting the defensive aspect of this game. I went behind to 2-1. Thankfully, this guy here was really sloppy in defense. I'm not sure if there was something wrong with his controller, or he was just like trying to do auto defending, but we go through with Hazard, lovely finish near post. We bring it back to 2-2. And then off the corner here, the ball clears, and Varane turns it on, thinks he's George Best. He's just in and out of the defenders. Another nice finish at the near post from our centre-back. And that brings it to 3-2, and that's the end of the first game. And we pick up the victory in round 1, and we progress on to round 2 as we get another look at that goal from Figo that we missed earlier. So the side work was pretty good for us. Work rates are a little bit of an issue. That 3-5-2 formation was a little bit of an issue as well. So we're going to get into our second game here. We'll try and get into our second game. Looks like we're finding it pretty hard to pick up an opponent. And in fact, I searched twice for an opponent and couldn't get an opponent at all. And I was getting pretty late, so I packed it in here for the day. That's all we're going to have from today's episode. I hope you enjoyed our first ever draft. It's exciting to get Rodri into the club. Hopefully he's going to do absolute bits for us. Until next time, please subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and hit that like button or comment, that sort of stuff. But yeah, all the best, take care, and we'll see you soon.